Hey, what's up, guys? Another show, another edition of NukeStream here tonight. Um, let me guys, let me know if you guys can hear me clearly. Yeah, I just want to discuss several topics. Before we start, you guys know where to find me. Like and subscribe to the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. You can follow me on Patreon. Write an article about a week. Um, excuse me. Uh, You guys can follow me on Instagram, Twitch, all that stuff. I'll put the link tree in the chat now or later on, and then you guys can follow me there. Feel free to super chat the show. The more you guys super chat, the more shows I can do, and the better my equipment. Um, yeah, and then share on Twitter, share or retweet me on Twitter or wherever. Get more people watching, right? Because I think people really need this message in this crazy space full of people who don't really know what they're talking about, right? So, you know, I've been tweeting a lot of crazy stuff, but like I get a lot of kind of spurs and people arguing in the comments with their own little theories as to why the world is the way it is, and the world and how to change it. They don't have any good ideas on how to change it, but um, you know, at the end of the day, uh, we have to find solutions to our problems. We can't just, pontificate or talk about, hey, you know, uh, this is bad. Should this should be like this should be like that. It's a waste of time. You'll get nowhere, you know. So it's like we need to move on. We need to find the solution to our problems. Men have always found solutions to the problem. That's why we got so far in life in our species, is because we didn't sit around and complain. We found solutions to our problems. And right now the problem is you know, intersexual dynamics. It's really seeping into every part of life, the economy, everything. And we can't do anything on a mass scale, but we can do things in our own lives to improve the chances we have to live a happier life. And that's really all we have. We can't do massive calls to action. That requires lots of incentives, cataclysmic world event, stuff like that. So it's unrealistic. But what is realistic is you adopting the mental models, strategies, learning some game and all that stuff to keep yourself protected and happy against the onslaught of what society is right now, right? Um, anyways, give me one sec here. Clear my throat. Anyways, I just want to discuss three topics today. I'm trying to figure out which one I'm going to discuss first. Um, let's see here. Which one shall I discuss first? Man, I thought I had it. One second, guys, because there's three of them. I'm trying to see which one would be the best to start with. Okay. All right, so let's start with kids in the mansion, right? This is more of like a 10,000 yard view of society and all that stuff, but it will help you understand and kind of understand why what we're seeing right now, right? I've always said when you're dating and you're on boots on the ground, you're just there. You constantly have women in front of you, right? A lot of the takes that people have online, in the fake online world, they'll start to seem very weird and very like out of touch, or just like, where'd you get this from, right? And people always have their own theories as to why things are the way they are. But guys that go out there and actually live their life and date women kind of start seeing patterns ourselves, right? So we go out there and we discuss, and we say, hey, this is what we've seen, and then a lot, and then voila, we have the red pill. Red pill has always been like, hey guys, science will try to approximate um uh science will try to approximate a cause and effect for what we're seeing right now, and it does have its merits. And then you have religion saying, hey, you know religion is downstream of human biology. If if you believe in God and all that, if you don't believe in God, this is the way you see it. If you do believe in God, then that's different if you have faith. But for those that are agnostic or don't believe in God, like we see that religion is downstream of biology, right? So a lot of the things you see in religion, like female chastity is highly valued, all these different concepts, is because men just saw what how women's nature, and they were like, okay, we got to control this because this is crazy. Like we got to make something up so we can keep women you know, secure. And or we can protect women from themselves and protect society from women. Um, because there is hacks for women to become very powerful, and that hack is feminism right now via technology like birth control, right? And social media and subsequently dating apps. So a lot of people have their own theories, but in reality, the red pill is made up of normal guys like you and me that just sat down and were like, "Hey, I went out on a date. This is what I did, and this is what got me laid. This is what didn't get me laid. Hey, I married my wife a year in. Sex life's good. This is what I'm doing. Oh, hey, sex life's terrible, but I fixed it. Here's what I'm doing. Right? And then guys come together on the board and or some message board on the internet, and we're just like, hey, this works for me. Cool. I'm gonna try it. Hey, it worked for me too. Okay, I'm gonna try it. And then this didn't work for me. Blah blah. Right. So that's what happened. And that's what it always was and always will be. That's what the red pill. Now people have taken the red pill and realized that because of technology and how fast technology moved forward in the past decade and a half in terms of intersexual dynamics, like dating apps for the most part, Instagram, all that stuff. And now we have like OnlyFans and stuff like that. A lot of people are kind of shocked by technology. So because they're shocked by technology, they haven't been able to adapt or like change their mindset or understand what the new normal is in terms of dating. So they become angry and frustrated, right? You're a red pill rage face. A lot of people, most guys have it when they unplug. They're just mad, but they're really not mad at women. They're mad at the world. They're mad at themselves. They're mad at how did I fall for this? Did I let so many people take advantage of me? Um, and all that. So, it takes about a year, maybe 2 years, and then you freaking move on. You start dating, you get attractive, you start learning a little game, you become better in life in general, just a better person, better man. And then you start getting laid and you start realizing, like, okay, now I get it. And now the red pill was never meant to just make me mad forever. It was just meant to show me the truth. That way I could take that truth and use it for my benefit. It wasn't meant to change society as a whole. It wasn't meant to change women. It wasn't meant for women at all. It was meant for you, right? And that's where people kind of like, So a lot of guys, like to the internet, is a great way to make money if you know what you're doing. If you don't, then stay out. But in order to make money on the internet, you have to be bombastic. You have to be stress the truth. You have to be a showman, right? You have to use pornographic images, right? Like you have to use half naked women. Those are the rules of the internet. That's how it works. So the guys get together on a podcast and they say, hey, if we have women that are insane or insane things, we get them a little bit of alcohol, then that will stoke viewership because men are mad, men are angry. The guys that thought that doing the bare minimum was enough to get them a girl because they were special. Remember, defective females, they think that just because they exist, they deserve a girl, right? That's how women think, right? They see these shows and like, no, no, blah blah blah, this blah blah blah, that's BS, blah blah. Like, screw this girl. Let me here, take my money. And then there's this covert contract that if they watch these podcasts and support these creators, that society will change for the better, and it will not. It's not going to change for the worse or the better. It's just going to be different. Um, and then on top of that, we have female emotionalism that kind of like ruined the public view, not the real red pill, the public view of the red pill. So I could say something like, hey, she's not yours, it's just your turn. And then like four female content creators will come on a show by a guy who's rich, who's financing the show, and say that's dumb. And then we'll have an argument. And guess what, guys? Nothing of value was said. Nothing helped you. There's no tools, nothing. You just watched two genders argue with each other. One of them cried, one of them got angry, and you got nothing out of it except entertainment value. But let me tell you this: entertainment value, sure, right? But like entertainment value is not supposed to leave you all like angry all the time. It's not supposed to emotionally control you for days on end, right? You watch a movie, like a horror movie, and you're scared when you're watching it. And then after you leave the theater, you may have a nightmare, but then after like 2 days, you just forget about the movie. It's just entertainment. It's fleeting. But you watch a podcast about some girl saying that you know she makes six figures on OnlyFans, even though that's like a statistical anomaly almost. And you're mad for 2 weeks, 6 months, 3 months, a year, and it's just like you know you have to be careful what you consume because this stuff really gets to the deep parts of your ego and and you don't want to do that to yourself. You want to experience life. But anyway, that's basically where we're at. Uh, but I think a lot of guys are catching on to this, and there's a lot of work to be done for the individual, and a lot of people underestimate how much work they have to do on themselves, and I underestimate it too. And I'm glad that I caught that early in my life, like maybe mid 20s. I was like, man, I am so behind, not in terms of like money or career, or it's just understanding the world and understanding myself. So I did the work, and I kind of listened to other people's strategies, and I just shut up, stop making my own strategies, and just start listening to other people try the things they did in terms of game dating mindset, and it worked incredibly. And then I leveraged my gifts and used logistics to my advantage, and I learned a lot about women. And I would say I learned too much. Like I wish I knew less about women, but I know pretty much everything there is to know about women. Um, which I guess is a good problem to have. But anyway, guys, go ahead and comment in the chat. Active chat, better show. So for you guys, for the guys that are in here, like the video, and thank you for being here. But anyways, so kids in the mansion. Um, it's an analogy I came up with. So basically, again, going back to the 10,000 yard stare of the intersectional dynamics of the West, right? Basically, what we did um, is we gave women the keys to this mansion, right? This giant mansion, like with 20 rooms, right? Like the Richie Rich mansion from that 90s movie. Um, and we said, hey, you guys have fun, do whatever you want, right? We'll be back in a couple days. You guys have fun, do whatever you want, right? And then we let the women inside, basically like children, and they went crazy, right? They opened the refrigerator and they ate all the snacks, right? They were swinging from the chandeliers and falling and um hurting themselves, right? Um, they were sliding down the railings of the staircase. They were getting into fights with each other. They were, blasting all the music, playing all the games, blasting music on the TV. Um, they were watching R-rated movies that they weren't supposed to on the TV. They were doing all these things, right? And they are getting hurt. They're doing all these things, and then we come back for them a couple days later, and we say, "Hey guys, we're just back. We just wanted to check up on you guys." And then the girls are like, some of them are sick because they ate too much food. Some of them are hurt and bruised because they were just horsing around. There was no one to tell them, "Hey, stop that!" Right now, the guys that are trying to yell at women or trying to like convince women of to change their ways. Those are the guys in the window banging on the window of the mansion, be like, "Hey, stop what you're doing. This is not safe. You can get hurt. Come outside and listen to me. You're gonna fall." And I'm not saying they're wrong, right? But they're just no the girls inside don't care. They're just having a blast. They're just partying. You know. So they're banging and banging on the window and they barely get hurt. They're like, "Yeah, go away." So they don't care. And then some girls they let guys sneak in the mansion to have fun with them, right? So that's the players and the womanizers. They sneak them on the back and they let them in, and then the guys sneak back out, and they realize, man, that was easy. I didn't have to do anything. And then society basically, we come back after a couple days and we see them. Hey, they completely are hurt, ate too much food, and sick to their stomach, too much sweets. Um, and all that. And then, you know, they get mad and say, why did you let us have all that? Like what were you guys thinking? As you can see in a lot of TikToks and reels nowadays, what were you thinking with letting us um, you know, uh just be alone by ourselves for a week, like look at us, we're a mess. And we're just like, well, this is what you wanted. You wanted to have fun and do whatever you want. So you did, right? Within that group of girls that's in the mansion playing and horsing around and just, just having fun and doing whatever. There's some girls that are just like, hey, shouldn't we chill a little bit? We shouldn't eat all the snacks in the fridge. Hey, we shouldn't hang from that chandelier. And those are special girls. And those are the girls that we want. Yeah, they may have horsed around a little bit, but they were like, hey, like this is a little too much. Like, they're coming to get us in a couple days. Like, we should probably chill and relax. Hey, we shouldn't be sneaking guys inside the house. Like, yeah, man, that guy that's banging on the window over there for us to stop and to stop hurting ourselves. Maybe he has a point, but I don't know. Those are the girls that usually come out. They actually get married and have a good relationship, but they're very rare. And all the other girls are like, "Stop it! You're being weird. Like, come on, have fun. Like, don't worry about it." Right? Um, but yeah, that's just the kids in the mansion theory, right? And that's why you guys got to understand that we have abandoned women. And I know it's weird to say, right? Men have not been abandoned, but women have been abandoned, right? One second. Excuse me. Because men, when you go out, whatever institution you join, you get held a lot more accountable and a lot more standards for you than women, for the most part. If you pay attention, um, in society at large. So which is good, which means that there's people that care what how you act and how you do in society more than the other gender, which means that you are people want you to be better and people want you to do a certain thing. Obviously, sometimes that delves into the longhouse category, but for the most part, um, as men, we get called out all the time, and we are, you don't see a lot of men going um, hitting other men very often. It's usually a girl. Girl fights are just crazy because they don't wait. Guys at least kind of like each other up, but girls just go at it. Um, but for the most part, the uh, we've kind of just abandoned women. We don't hold them accountable. Men are still held accountable by society, and we kind of it's good for us, right? Because it makes us better humans. Like if you're in the military and your boss says, hey, like I know you can do better, I need you to work a little harder, and you're like, oh shit, I should. Like, he believes I can, so I want to work harder. And guess what happens? You work harder, um and it's good for you. You become a better. But for women, it's basically do whatever you want, whatever you do is perfect. Like if you want to eat a lot of food and you get fat, perfect. Your friends will call you fat, but girls won't call their friends fat. And no one is telling women, hey, you're gonna die, if you keep eating the way you are, or you're not gonna get the guy you want, or you're just gonna shorten your lifespan, or you're not gonna be happy, you're gonna have self-image issues, right? But we don't care. We don't tell women that anymore. And the guys that do, other men will defend her, saying, hey, she has a right to be fat and be unhealthy. So we don't care. Like, as a society, we stop caring about women. We let them do whatever they want. So they emerge from the mansion, all beaten, bruised, and all that stuff. And they say, okay, now that you guys are screwed up and did whatever you want, here's a couple guys that will take care of you despite all the damage you've done to yourselves and others. And you know, that's just how it is, right? We pretty much abandon women. They do whatever they want all the time, right? So you as a guy, where do you fit in this whole, like, women have no accountability, they do whatever they want, they really think the way they want and whatever. And the thing is, understand this: women have agency, right? They do whatever they want, so you don't have to answer for whatever they do. If they want to sleep with you, it's because they want to sleep with you, right? It's not because you're tricking them. It's not because, you're lying or something, or you're doing underhanded tactics. Literally, they have made a choice, and that choice is theirs, right? They have autonomy. So understand that first. And number two, always lead with like being the fun, exciting guy. Don't be the guy that's just, trying to save them or trying to be good for women. Like, just it's not your problem to solve, right? Their life and their issues are not your issues. You don't owe women a better life at all. Nothing, right? They owe themselves a better life, and you owe yourself a better life. Now, if she wants to make your life better, that's different. But remember, the key word is wants. Most women don't want to make any man's life better. And that's okay, right? There are consequences for that, but even those consequences are not for you to worry about. Um, so, you know, um, we got Booty Scratcher. The biggest change for me was putting RP content and theory down and start applying myself out there. I feel a lot, but I learned so much. Yeah, it's fun to read this stuff. It's pretty interesting, and it's sometimes the outrage. It's nice. It's kind of funny to see a girl say something dumb and get kicked off a podcast or just get dunked on, right? I guess not anymore for me, but it used to be. But yeah, it's between you and the world. Like no one's can help you through this. You have to go out there and do it yourself. No one's gonna hold your hand. You have to man up and go figure this stuff out. Godspeed, made rocking the Demon Slayer merch. Yep, yes I am, sir. I am. This is like my usually my gym shirt for when I go do leg day, but I wore it tonight. So, anyways, um, where were we? Anyways, yeah. So that's the kids in the mansion theory. So when you see these arguments on Twitter about what should be done about women and men and marriage and all that, they'll just be like, hey, we abandoned women a long time ago. They do whatever they want. You tell a woman to do something that she's not like she doesn't want to do, or try to hold her accountable, you'll get like it's like cat in the water response, like putting dunking a cat in water. You know, like good luck. It's let delusional guys deal with that. There's really nothing you can save there. So yeah. Um, okay, and then the next concept was cookie in the pocket. So okay, um, cookie in the pocket basically is um. Oh, hey, what's up, Kyle? Good to see you, Nuke. Dropping by the social support. Hey, thanks, man. Guys, check out my talk with Kyle on my channel. We had a good talk the other day. We pretty much are the same person in different lifestyles. He's a guy that really took the red pill stuff, applied it, and moved on. He didn't like you know because that's all you can do, guys. You can't do anything else with the red pill than apply it and move on, right? Anything else beyond that is not red pill, right? Using the red pill to change the political uh, landscape, using red pill to change anyone outside of yourself is not the red pill. All right. So thanks for dropping by, Kyle. But anyway, uh, so cookie in the pocket theory is something I came up with the other day. It's something from the military that I used to do to help boost my own morale, right? Because in the military, a lot of the morale is a weird thing in that it's almost like they teach you that the morale is someone else's, like your divisions or your department heads or the higher ups problem, right? Like you have to work and they're in charge of making sure to keep you away from being depressed and unable to work, right? Which was so strange to me because I'm like, but it's like I gotta wait till someone else improves my working conditions in order for me to be happy. Like what do I got to do? Do I have to complain and bitch, or do I have to like write a suggestion box, which we did have, or did we do it, or did have to like perform really good? So they said, hey, let's give these guys a break. They're working hard. Or did I have to perform really bad so they could say like, hey, these guys are not performing. Let's raise morale and see if they perform better. Who knows? I don't know. So I thought, okay, I need to do little things in my military career as a nuke to like kind of get me through the day, kind of get me through the week, come and get through the day. Cause I can't wait for somebody, a higher up, to like enact a policy or give me a day off or do something cool for me to raise my morale. So basically I did this. So when I was in the galley in the military, sometimes they'd have cookies out. The cookies were pretty good, Navy food is notoriously horrible, but the cookies were pretty good. And they were wrapped in like plastic wrap. So um, a lot of people would grab a lot of cookies and it looked really bad. It looked like you were selfish. There's a whole bunch, there's 5,000 other people on the ship. So I try not to be greedy. So I would just grab one or two, let's say I grab one, right? And I'm like, wait, I got this plate of food. Um, I don't want to eat the cookie first, so I'm just gonna put it in my pocket, right? And then I would eat the food. I start talking with other shipmates, and the shipmates, we'd get into conversation. I'd finish the food, and they'd be like, "Hey, let's go do something else," or "Let's go get this maintenance done," or "Hey, let's go to the lounge or whatever and talk." Whatever we were doing, and I would forget about the cookie. Cookie would be in my pocket, right? Now, mind you, the cookie was wrapped in plastic, so it's still edible, right? So I had this cookie in my pocket. I couldn't feel it because my pockets were so deep because I was wearing the blue janitor outfit in the Navy. I don't know if it changed, but it was very comfortable. But but yeah, I was wearing that, and so I didn't feel the cookie in my pocket. So I worked the whole day. 24 hours later, I would go to bed, wake up, and put the same coveralls on, and I went to breakfast, and I had my coffee, and then I realized, wait, or I had a bad day or a bad night, and then I would wake up the next day and go to breakfast, and I put on the same coveralls, right? Because they can't wash coveralls every day, so at the end of the day, you just air them out, and unless they don't smell bad, I just put it on again. So I put them on, and then I would go to breakfast, have some coffee, and I realized, wait, something's in my pocket, and then I would feel my pocket, and then there would be a cookie, and I'd be like, oh crap, this is really cool. I forgot I had this cookie. This made my day, or this made my morning. Now I'm having a chocolate chip cookie with my my coffee. Um, and I could have thrown the cookie away as soon as I got it, or I could have like felt my pocket and like, what is this doing? I don't want this now, and I didn't have to carry it with me, right? Even though I had a huge pocket. So where am I going with this? In terms of women, right? A lot of guys want to, like, if a girl ghosts them or anything, or they kind of like the conversation dies in the texting or something like that, or they anything from like they had a one night stand with the girl and the girl never texted back, or they're casually dated for 1 or 2 months or whatever. They kind of want to like get this girl out of their life completely because the girl didn't act right, right? But what you need to, for these girls, always like leave the door open for her to come back, and like so you guys can hook up again, right? You want to have that cookie in your pocket, so when you have a week or a month or going through a time where you're not getting women, you can have this backup, this girl that could come in your life at any moment and be like, hey, like, I saw this picture you posted, let's hang out and all that stuff, and then boom, you know and a girl came back into your orbit. Some girls are like Sally's Comet, where they only show up like once a year. You guys hook up and then they leave again, right? And then some girls are like every other week. They're like, hey, like they'll hook up, ghost you for a week and a half, and then show up, hey, let's do this, and then ghost you for a week and a half, and then hey, let's do this, and then over and over again, right? So basically, whenever a girl leaves you, unless it's like blatant disrespect or she really did something bad to you, leave the door open. Don't like delete her number, don't block her, leave the door open, right? Even if she says, "Hey, I can't see you anymore. I found a guy," just say, "Hey, like, hey, don't mess this up. I'm rooting for you." You know, and a lot of times they'll come back, right? Girls don't want their body count to get too high, so they go with the guy who they know a lot of the time, right? So instead of throwing away the cookie in your pocket because you don't want it in that moment, save that cookie in your pocket. That way, later on, when you're having a bad day or not able to get a girl, you're going through a dry spell, and then all of a sudden this girl shows out of nowhere. You know, she already knows you. You already know her. You've already hooked up. You already have the upper hand because you already hooked up before. So it's like it's easy. It's an easy lay, right? And she could end up being a plate again, right? Or she could just Sally's Comet, once every couple years or once a year shows up. Hey, let's hook up, and then leaves again, right? And it's just always leave the door open. Don't be rude to girls that like fall off. Don't be blocking them. Don't be deleting numbers. Like there was a girl last year that I was seeing. Um, Last year we were heading towards a relationship, but then she noped out last minute, right? So I hit her up again. I was like, "Hey, I was putting up my tree, was thinking of you." And then, she ignored me for like 5 days. And I'm like, okay, she's not interested. Cool. And then on the sixth day, she's like, "Hey, yeah, of course, let's hang out." Um, and then, we hooked up last night. She's great. She's a great gal. So it's like that's the cookie in the pocket theory, guys, that I'm talking about. Like, don't don't throw the cookie away. Keep it there, and then one day you'll reach into your pocket and be like, "Oh shit, I forgot I had this." And then you pull it out and you enjoy your cookie, right? It's in plastic wrap. It's not gonna, it's not gonna spoil in your pocket. It's a cookie. So hopefully you guys understand that analogy. I don't know if I could have made it any clearer than that, but don't play a crusader for like the West in your personal life, right? Women are flaky, women are fickle. They'll come and go. They'll show up once a year. They'll leave. Some girls will just show up in your DMs and send you a nudes, or some girls, you know, will leave. Some girls will lead you on for a couple days. They just need to know that you're still into them. But for the most part, keep the door open always, and realize that there's no downside to keeping the door open for women to come back into your life, more so temporarily, right? So yeah, um, cookie in the pocket theory. But anyways, um, and then the last thing I want to discuss is uh, every girl is practice, right? A lot of guys tend to think that uh, more meeting more women somehow damages men and makes men less able to pair bond, which is feminine, which is tradcon feminine bullshit. It's not real. If you sleep with 20 women, you're not going to be unable to bond to a woman, right? There's plenty of guys that have slept with lots of women and are happily married and have it all, right? That's a feminist notion, and it's a feminist notion because women don't like in terms of power dynamics, men that have a lot of sexual experience with women and know women, that women know they can't control those guys. Women know they can't like, send them, can't manipulate them or can't use sex against them, right? Because what are you gonna do? You're gonna use sex against me? I can just go get sex whenever I want, right? Like the most I've ever had to wait for sex now is like a week, at most, because I know how to get it, right? I'll swipe, girls in real life, cookie in the pocket theory. Some girl from my past is going to show up. There's always going to be a girl for a guy with abundance. There's always going to be a girl there, right? So if we keep telling men, "Hey, go out and get experience," that lowers it's the power dynamic. It's just like, oh, the more experience men have, the more the the more unable to bond and bad they look in God's eyes, right? So, and this is they don't even talk about how the women's experience. The women that change for Jesus. They could have 100 bodies and they change for Jesus, and all of a sudden, but they don't talk about guys doing that, right? So, yeah, cookie in the pocket. I'm gonna have to remember that. I tend to burn the ships and no, bro, don't stop. That's the ego thing, man. Understand that a woman leaving you has nothing to do with you most of the time, right? It's an ego thing. Don't worry about it. Um, it's not it's not really smart to just burn bridges with people that don't even care about you that much, right? Your job is to literally um, keep the door open, and when she wants to come back and hook up, and then when she wants to leave, she wants to leave, right? It takes a little bit of maturity to understand why you shouldn't hold women accountable, but you can't, right? No matter how much you try to, you know, she's not your daughter, she's not your wife, she's not your employee. You know, you can't really hold women accountable. So just let them do whatever they want. Bar, blatant disrespect, or bar like she literally did something bad to you that really irredeemable. Um, just keep the door open. But anyway, Yeah, so there's this notion that like a guy who has a lot of experience is not a good partner, but it's actually quite the opposite, right? It's like one of those things where it's just the opposite. So guys say that when guys say, "Oh, having a lot of sex partners as a guy is bad," when guys say that, it's like intersexual competition, right? A lot of guys can't or don't have the framework, or they just are afraid to piss off mommy feminism, mommy Christianity. So they say things like that in order to shame guys that do get out there and do get laid a lot. Um, and it just because that's all they have, shame, 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 shame. Shame is something that some guys will actually respond to. They'll be like, "Oh, if I don't have sex, it makes me look like a better man." And I never, and it's more like they don't have the skills to bed multiple women. Um, but the reason women say that too is like I said, the power dynamic. They know that guys who have a lot of sexual experience, they have no power over these guys, right? Because the only power women have over a guy is sex. In the beginning, right? Then it becomes leverage because children, marriage, assets, and all that. But like in the beginning, it's sex, right? Whenever you have sex with a girl, the dynamic changes. Sometimes you have to have sex two or three times, and then she'll completely fall into your frame. But for the most part, sex is what keeps is where women's power lies in the beginning. So the more easily I can get sex from other women besides you in particular, the less power you have over me, right? And obviously that scares women. So that's why they say don't don't be out there. It's degenerate, blah blah blah. Problem is that women also are fascinated with men that can get their needs taken care of whenever they want, almost, right? So it's like it's in this inner conflict. Don't listen to them. Every girl is practice, meaning every girl has something to teach you about yourself and about women, right? So if you go out with a girl and you realize like, hey, the last three girls I want to date with all said this thing or did this thing or acted this way or reacted this way, you start seeing a pattern, right? And then the pattern, you start saying like, okay, well, this is why I date. A lot of guys, while they do enjoy sex, they really want to just be with one girl, right? And I know that like going out with multiple women is kind of strange, it's not always comfortable. You're stepping out of your comfort zone. You're meeting strangers. You're meeting girls that who knows what their background story or what they bring to the table, or what crazy things they've been doing in their life. But for the most part, you want to you want to be careful obviously when you date, but also you want to learn, like pay attention to what how women are, right? The lies they say, their actions, and then you realize that over time, while yes, it is fun to take these women home and bed them, it's more about learning. That way, when you do find a wife or you do find a girl you like, all those skills and all those observations from the girls that you dated before that never ended up in anything, you can apply them to your relationship because you actually like the girl. She's your wife. She's wifey material, right? So it and also the red pill maxims that people have a lot of trouble understanding, right? Um, it makes it easier to understand when you date a lot, right? Like for example, she's not yours; it's just your turn, right? A lot of people who aren't initiated hate that. They think it's quitting. They think it's like we don't care about relationships. But then you realize, like, um, hey, I've dated several women, and the women were usually the ones that left. I didn't really stop talking to the women. I was always like, hey, if you want to do this, you want to do this, but you have to like, show up for me as a woman, right? Um, and then you realize, like, wait, there was nothing I could have done to get this girl back or to keep this girl. She made a choice. She said, hey, I'm done with you, and she left. It was just my turn, right? And as you date, more and more of these red pill maxims will become easier to swallow and more understandable because um, not only are you reading this stuff and watching this stuff, you're also seeing it play out and applying it in real life, right? And at the end of the day, you can't, what do you call it? If you only do one and not the other, you're at risk. right? So let's say you only date, like you're a PUA or whatever you are, and you only date women and you only talk to women, you don't care about the, which is, miles ahead of the average person. But just like in the show, in the book, sorry, in the book, The Game, if you don't have the right tools, the right emotional tools and mental framework, even if you're good at getting women into your life, you'll still get steamrolled by them, right? So that's where the red pill comes in and teaches you about the nature of women. So that way, while you're dating and gaming women out there, you're also kind of like understanding their nature and like starting to enjoy them for what they are, not what they never could be for you, right? But if you only consume red pill content, only red pill content, then you become one of the guys that are just angry online all the time and just repeating hypergamy, blah blah blah, this, blah blah blah, that. The same women suck, blah blah blah. Which in within that there are lots of truths, right? But like it's not useful. It's like great. We know that women are like this. How do I win in this environment? Um, you don't want to be following content creators that just stoke your anger and just make you feel like you should be angry, and then like, because yeah, I'm not saying it's great, but like you need a way forward, you need a path, you need a plan, because if you don't, you're just going to be stuck forever. So if you consume the red pill stuff and also date and live your life and are engaged in your life, then it becomes much better learning process than just doing one or the other, right? I would prefer dating and ignoring the red pill stuff over only red pill stuff, because at least you're in the real world and you're learning. But that it is what it is. So yeah, every girl's practice. You'll learn things about women in every aspect, from sexually, emotionally. You'll and then here's the hard part for a lot of guys: you'll learn the darkest things about women that no one wants to talk about. Not even in the manosphere bullshit space. No one wants to talk about the darkest things about women, right? And that's the problem too, where I come from a place of, I'm not from sympathy for women, not because um, I'm trying to defend them, because I don't really care that much, beyond like I can't help them. But like once you start learning things about women in their personal lives as you hook up with them and date them, you start to realize like a lot of women are not okay. They're going through some really messed up crap in their lives, and they're struggling. And the number one reason they struggle, to me at least, is that no one tells them the truth. We've abandoned them, right? Kids in the mansion, right? We've just given them the keys to the mansion, be like, do whatever you want, right? And then no one's like telling them like, hey, you can't have Starbucks every day. You know that, right? Like you're gonna get fat, and if you get fat, shorter lifespan. Like there's so many health issues, and you're not gonna be able to get the guy you want, and then you're just gonna become a bitter, chubby girl, you know, and just gonna get pumped and dumped by guys that needed a slump buster. Is that the life you want? No one tells them that. No one tells them that. My neighbor, I love him to death, right? But like he sees me in fit gear all the time, when I'm on my way to the gym, and he's like, "Oh man, I got to get to the gym." I'm like, "Hey man, you got to stop making excuses. You got to get out there, at least walk 10,000 steps a day and do something." That's me telling him the truth, right? In a nice way, right? But girls don't do that for each other. Men don't do that for women. Medical professionals don't do that for women. No one's telling women that this is bad, right? And so we abandon them. And then if you look at women's personal lives, it takes the shape of SSRIs. It takes the shape of crash diets, eating disorders. It takes the shape, and they blame us. They still blame us. Instead of saying, hey, like you have the ability to not eat donuts. You can just not eat certain things. It's simple. It's hard, but it's simple. Um, but No one tells them that. No one, and the guys that do, usually they get blasted, and there's nothing you can do. But we just abandon them, and you realize that takes a shape in their that it shows up in their life as like really negative things, right? Um, it's really difficult, right, to hear women complain about being pumped and dumped. Um, and I've literally have told women like, hey, um, the way I treat you is how you're supposed to be treated. I know you don't want a relationship with me. We're just like having fun, but like you see how like I plan dates for you, and you see how like you know, I have little anime nights and lay out snacks and we're hanging out. And you see that I ask you about your mom and dad and stuff like that. Cause, I am a gentleman to women that deserve it. But I, I told her, like, hey, uh, that's how you're supposed to get treated, right? You're not supposed to go on a date, get pumped and dumped and ghosted. I know it's going to happen here and there because, life, but this is what it's supposed to be. How many guys do you think are telling girls that? And girls don't really care, even though I'm trying to tell her, hey, go have fun and stuff. I don't care. Like, it's your body. I don't care about your life that much. But like, just saying, the way I treat you is how you're supposed to be treated. It's what you should be looking for. But they're not gonna listen. So um yeah, you're gonna learn a lot of things about women that most people don't want to talk about, and most people are afraid to talk about. And it's gonna be so weird. You're gonna feel alone. You're gonna be like, hey, how come no one's talking about this? Obviously the red pill, content creators, they dive into this stuff pretty thoroughly. But like the average person, the average government institution, your friend next door or whatever, they don't really talk about this stuff. They don't know what the deep dark secrets of how women cope with having all this godlike power now due to dating apps and male thirst, right? Um, and they're just kids with bazookas. So uh, the only way to ever get to the point where you fully understand women and you start getting this sympathy for them, like holy shit, like their lives, like wow, is to simply, um, how would I put this? Is to simply date them a lot, but like not only date them a lot, but like observe, kind of like start noticing patterns, right? I wrote a big thread on the patterns I noticed and all that stuff, and a lot of people didn't like it. And I could tell the people that don't like it or disagreed, they don't have experience, no experience. You know, when I say things like all women are feminists, they're like, no, and I'm like, no, no, dude, you have a covert contract thinking that if a girl is votes for Trump or something, that she's somehow more better as for you as a woman than a girl that doesn't. So you don't have experience. You haven't dated a girl who's conservative, who's absolutely a slut, you know, and a bad person overall, right? Just because she voted for a certain politician doesn't mean she's a good person, you know. It just means she voted for that politician. So these things take experience, right? So when you're out there dating, you may not want to date. You may just want to find a good girl and settle down, especially now during the holidays, right? Or you're tired. But realize like it's okay to take breaks, but also um, realize that this is a learning process, right? You're trying to level the playing field in terms of knowledge, right? Women have been manipulating men since they were 12, right? Um, so the only way you level the playing field of understanding women is for you yourself to look at the landscape and be like, hey, um, you know, uh, I'm gonna learn and date women. I'm gonna write things down. I'm gonna trade notes with other guys. I'm gonna watch red pill content sparingly, to check ideas and look at everything. And then I'm gonna go out there again. And then finally, I'm gonna have enough knowledge paired with, you know, muscles. Looking better, taking care of myself, paired with confidence, paired with game, paired with money, financial situation, and then paired with mental models like outcome independence and um, getting rid of my covert contracts, all that energy and power you take it to the dating market, and it's just going to come a landslide of women. Women are just going to start coming. It may not be eights, but you'll six and sevens are going to be falling, and then once in a while you get an eight and all that stuff, right? But it's just that's all you have, guys. There's not really much. Um, there's not really much we can do here in terms of like holding women accountable. There's nothing. You're done. Like there's nothing you can do. The only thing you can do is like look at the playing field and be like, how do I benefit from this? How can I survive this? How can I come out on top? Right. So yeah. Uh and dating. I'm getting comments from X. That's pretty weird. CGM advice for dating in Dallas in 22. Okay. Um, I don't know what that last part is. That like your what does it say there? Man, I might have to open Twitter. But anyway, advice for dating in Dallas. You're 22, dude. Are you in school? I would say right now, as a 22-year-old, you know, obviously focus on money. Don't worry too much about girls. Don't be running into a relationship. Don't be looking at women as you're out as for a relationship. Um, and I would say, you know, that's a little vague, man. Like, what do you mean by advice? Like, what specific things are you struggling to? Are you struggling approaching women? Are you struggling taking them home? Are you struggling with logistics? Are you struggling like what is the piece of the puzzles that you need before because I could talk for hours on how to date in this city. So, um, yeah. But thanks for the comment. But anyways, guys, yeah, that's basically the three theories, the three things I want to talk about. Um, Don't get too caught up on any single girl. If a girl wants a relationship, she'll let you know through her actions, right? Obviously, you always look at her actions. Don't try to force fit a girl in a relationship or push a girl towards a relationship. That's her problem. That's her prerogative. If she wants a relationship, she has to show you she wants one, right? You are the prize. So act like it, and a guy that's, worked on himself and improved, those are still rare. A guy that's muscular is still like 1% of the population. So when a girl wants to come into your life and, is showing a little bit of like interest, I'm not saying make her work for it, like, but like understand that if she wants a relationship, she has to show you through her actions, right? If her actions don't show you she doesn't want to be in a relationship, it's not your problem, right? All right. TP says, how do you square your experiences with theory when they don't match given the theory claims truth? Hold on. How do you square your experiences with theory when they don't match given the theory claims truth? Uh, all right. So basically, what you're saying is, see if I get this right. You take a theory, like let's say, assume don't obsess. Like assume she's a slut, don't obsess. Like let's like a red pill maxim, right? Uh, and you're saying you've had experiences where, like, let's say you got 3 dates in a row where you've gone out with girls and all of them were not sluts. They were just normal chicks, like serially monogamous. They jump from 6 month relationship to 6 month relationship to year relationships, right? So you're just like, oh, um, okay, I don't see why this is correct. There's no way, right? Understand that these red pill maxims and these theories aren't meant just for us to talk about them. You know, it ain't like astrophysics where we talk about like the black hole is this size and this is what will happen if you got sucked in a black hole. Like, just cool stuff that'll never happen, you'll never observe, right? This shit is a praxology, meaning that there is a reason why people said that. And that reason is to protect you from the dating market and what the current landscape is, right? You may have met, let's say, if we're still talking about she's assume she's a slut, don't obsess, right? You may think that's a little harsh because every girl I meet in the past few girls I met are decent women. They don't show me slutty sides, and that very well could be, right? But understand that the point of that it's not a theory, it's a maxim, right? The point of that theory or maxim or whatever you want to call it is to protect you just in case you thought for a second she was a good girl. And we do know that if you assume a girl is a good girl without even observing her, giving her like a long enough timeline to prove that she is, you can get hurt and you could really get in a load of trouble, right? For assuming that a girl is a good girl off the bat, right? So that exists there. It may not always manifest in every man's life the same, right? But it's there. There is no harm in assuming a girl is a slut and not obsessing over it. Zero harm, right? And it won't make you like her less, right? Because you're not supposed to like her beyond sex in the beginning. You're supposed to sex is the thing that will change the leverage where she finally feels like, hey, I'm gonna start working so this guy can take me seriously, right? But that maxim is there to protect you. It's not there just so we can say it and be like sound cool and make money on a podcast. It's there for a reason. It's written in blood, right? So when someone says like, "Hey, this red pill maxim is bullshit," it doesn't apply to me. Like, great, thanks, man. It doesn't apply to you, but it has applied to like hundreds of other men. And if it doesn't apply to you, dude, then you don't need it. Remember, The red pill is a toolbox, right? You take what you need, you use it, and then you put it back. You don't take every tool with you to every job or every project you have in your house. You take what you need, you use it, and then you put it back. If assuming every girl is um a slut helps you, then sure, right? But also it's there to help you. It's not there to discourage you. It's not there to be mean to women. It's not there to like because we want a certain thing, it's there to protect you, right? And that's the whole point. It's for your protection. Uh, how do you gauge sincerity of the person in front of you versus a person rationalizing hidden truth? In terms of what? What's the context? Do you have experience going for a girl who's in a relationship? Uh, Not really. I don't go for girls in relationships. It's not a good look, you know. There's no really upside to that. There's plenty of women. There's plenty of single women. Most women are single till they're 40. Most women 18 to 40 are single, so don't waste your time. You know, King Trustee. So getting rid of covert contracts, yeah, which is a covert contract is she's wearing she's presenting herself in a very classy way. She must be a saint, right? Some of the sluttiest women I met have dressed like a trad wife, you know. So you want to get rid of that, and it's to protect you. You know that really is just these red pill maxims are just to protect you and um, get you keep you safe. You know, keep your mind, your mental health safe. Keep you from doing dumb things. Keep you from losing your job because of a woman, or losing your family, or just it's there to help you. The red pill is a means to an end. It's not just us pontificating saying we want to say this because we want to cause engagement. No, we want to say this because it's literally written in blood, right? How many guys have you seen with a girl that was a complete POS slutty girl, and they're just like, no, she's classy and she's good for me, and since she's making me wait for sex, so that means she's a good girl. We're just like, oh my god, no, no, no. He says their conception is this is a trend. Bear it in mind in case it happens. Yeah, it's just um, it's a mental model. It's thinking, hey, I don't know this girl. And every piece of technology and every societal convention is trying to lower the shame and or encourage her being promiscuous. So I must assume she is promiscuous. But a lot of guys hate promiscuous women, like because promiscuous women to them are the girls that cheated on them or cheated on their friends or divorced them. But so they can't separate that. For me, promiscuous women are just women who like to fuck. I don't, right? Because I can separate um I can separate the two, right? But yeah. I call the approach, but sourcing is tough. Not seeing enough attractive women in public. Dating apps suck. Yeah, dating apps are gonna suck. The best thing you can do for dating apps is, get a professional picture. Learn how to take pictures. Plenty of guides online. Take a, professional photo shoot, and um, put some effort. Put some effort into this stuff, into your dating profile. Like you don't get like five pics that you found on your phone. Like go out there and think like what are things that women like to see? Like they like to see you um doing stuff that you like, and being good at it, right? And in public, right? Like if you like to play guitar, they want to see you playing guitar in public. That makes you look, you know, more attractive, and so on and so forth. And cold approach is difficult. It will burn you out, but I think once in a while, cold approach is good to keep you fresh. But the thing is, too, you gotta find a an environment or a context where you can become alpha. It may not be day one, but pre-selection is literally the best way to meet women passively, going to a place where you are perceived as high value, right? For me, it's like salsa night. I go to salsa night and I dance a little bit. I say hi to the DJ, I say hi to everyone, and I say hi to some girls that go, and automatically and the bartenders know me and they gave me a free drink, and automatically the girls that are there are like, "Who is this guy? This guy knows it. This guy's like, he's connected here. Like, what's going on?" So yeah, try to find a context, you know, and where you can climb and become a social person, an alpha, a contextual alpha. That will help you more than anything. And attack on all sides. Dating apps, cold approach, social circle game. Don't let anyone tell you discourage you from one or the other. All right. You can have your dating app. It's not you don't have to actively maintain it. You could just leave it there and then swipe once in a while, right? Don't throw away a source even though it's not the most rewarding, right? Do everything. If you see a cute girl at a coffee shop, you want to talk to her, talk to her. No one's telling you not to. So, yeah. Um, let's see anything else. I appreciate you explaining this in common sense language. Content creators breed paranoia and cold. Yeah, but remember, you are responsible for your own happiness, right? You can't just blame content creators for how you feel. You decide with how you feel sometimes, right? If you think, hey, it's this person's fault that uh, everyone the things are so bad. Like, no, they're just a content creator, right? Um, they don't. It's not real life. Your experiences are real life, right? I'm I'm here to tell you this is what I observed, and this is what I think you guys should do. I know "should" is a shitty word to use, but hey, it worked for me. Great. If you guys disagree, cool. Whatever. But you can't use content creators as a scapegoat for how you handle your emotions, right? Um, try doing things in real life and see how you feel, and then compare it to how watching a podcast makes you feel. Right? Example: I'll watch a podcast or something, a clip pops up on my phone, right? YouTube or IG, and it's just some girl saying something completely fucking outrageous, anti men, all that. Just and it, I guys, I come from a culture where women loved men, right? Puerto Rico, women loved men. They loved us. You know, they would watch us play basketball in between classes, right? They would chase us down to get our number sometimes. They would dance reggaeton with us and ask us to dance. Like the women loved us, right? And then, I grow up and I'm here in my mid 30s, and now I'm just like, man, women really hate us. Like, look online how much they hate us, like this contempt for men, right? I'm just like, Jesus. But then I realized, like, wait, let me go out and see, and let me go out for some fresh air, right? And then I go to salsa night, and the girls are giving me hugs and kisses on the cheek. I'm dancing with girls, and they seem so into me and very polite and respectful. The bartender, she's half drunk, and she makes me free drinks. She smiles, and she said, and I ask her, hey, when are we gonna dance? Like, I can't dance. Blah, blah, and you just realize, wait, um, I don't think that women like me like men as much as they did early on, but also there's plenty of women that are like treating me good in my real life, acquaintances, co-workers, that it's not one or the other. You don't have to get your dose of reality from content creators, right? So be careful, and if you still get affected by this stuff, don't watch it. Right? You are in charge of your own happiness. If you can't have the discipline to look at something and be like, hey, a random girl on the internet saying something is fucking with my head. So I should probably do the best I can to like not watch this stuff. Right? You don't want computer brain, right? You are in real life and you start seeing every single woman saying that, then you just be like, okay, they were right. But for the most part, your reality, your day to day life should temper your reality, not a podcaster. So, CGM, any good salsa dancing places in Dallas? Ooh, yeah, there's plenty. DM me on Twitter, and I'll link you to some places. King Tricks issues. Be like me. Work for me. Yeah. You are your own reality is your guru. Your guru is reality. Your reality. What you observe. Right. We can connect dots. We can tell you, hey, I noticed this. What did you notice? Oh, yeah. Connect the dot. Okay, let's write this maxim. Right. Um, and it worked 90%. There's no perfect answer. Right. The problem is manosphere sells as hidden truth, so it's unfalsifiable. Audience often vulnerable. Yeah, but that's not your problem. Your problem's not to help dumbasses. Let dumbasses be dumbasses. You're smart enough to know the difference. I'm smart enough to know the difference. Everyone in this chat is probably smart enough to know the difference. Let dumbasses be dumbasses. We're not in this together. Don't care about my fellow man. I care about people in my group. Um, let them be dumbasses. Let them be spend their money on that. All it's gonna do is gonna make my life easier. It get me closer to the girls I want, right? Because while while guys are like frustrated and talking about women bad, this bad, everything bad, I'm out there meeting and dancing with them and making them laugh and all that stuff. Because all the guys that should be out getting these women and locking them down are at home and I'm out. So better for me. If they want to be dumbasses, that's on them. I don't. So do you recommend working on yourself first and then dating, or do it concurrently? Concurrently, yeah, concurrently. That, but keep your expectations low, right? Because women, they just want, sadly, a lot of the women I date do complain about younger guys and the way you guys do business, right? It's like the number one complaint, right? And then they come to me and they're just like, "Oh, I just like that you plan the date, and I like that nothing seems to bother you, and I like that you give me space and I can do stuff, and then I like you always keep the door open for me." Like most of the complaints I get are a function of men being immature in their dating habits, right? So I would say do it both, and you realize that you be easy on yourself. You didn't ask for this dating landscape. Go out there, meet a girl, talk to a woman, set up a date. If she flakes, it's okay. It thickens your skin a little bit, and then once you get to like your late 20s, it's gonna flip like that because not only were you working on yourself, you also understand women a little bit. So that doesn't mean like make your whole life about women, right? But that means once in a while, keep your dating apps running. Um, Go meet women, go places where women are, become a contextual alpha, and have fun, right? But don't take it so seriously, right? 28, 29, it's there's gonna be a flip, and you're gonna realize, holy shit, like now I'm getting girls super easy, right? But you gotta learn a little bit. You can't just work and grind for 10 years and all of a sudden the 8 out of 10 baddie is gonna be falling your lap. That's not how that works. It's not letting me DM you on X for salsa dancing places. Okay. Um, hmm. Uh, Here, do this. Go on Instagram and look up salsa and um Saturdays at Gloria's in Addison. Great place to go. There's a live salsa band, so that's a great place to go dance salsa. And then Fridays in La Mina in the Village. My friend's a DJ there. That's also a great place. A classy place. A lot of classy gals dancing. So those are good places to go. Um, I meant RP proclaims politically incorrect findings outside of mainstream so difficult to make leap. Wait, I meant I don't understand what you're saying. Um, but anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in the show. That's a good show. I had a lot to say. I just wanted to get these concepts across because they've been in my head for a couple days. So thank you guys um for tuning in and taking time out to listen to me on this fine Tuesday. Um, yeah, you guys know where to find me. Let me put the link tree in the chat. Mm, I think I spelled that right. Yep. Okay. Um, yeah, so guys, follow me on those links. Um, and my Patreon is it's only five, I think $5. So cost of a cup of coffee a month, and you get some good articles. I'm planning on writing one tomorrow. Um, I don't know yet. Probably write two. And yeah, if you guys want to book a call with me too, let me know. My Calendly is up. Calendly.com, Nuclear Calillo, and book a call with me. I probably won't be available for the holidays too much until like the 26th But yeah, you guys book a call and just talk to me, and we'll see. You know, we'll help you out. Maybe you have a logistics problem. Maybe you just want to talk about what issues you have. You know, maybe you feel like you're stuck in this certain kind of area of like in your process in your system of dating. You're stuck somewhere that you can't get over. Right? Every guy has a sticking point where they need help or they need a different path to do. So if you guys want to talk to me, that's cool too. Follow me on Twitter too. Follow me on YouTube. If you haven't already, subscribe, like the video, comment below if you have any suggestions for comments or sorry for content. Um, and I'll see if I can add to it or build upon what your suggestion was. So all right, guys, thank you. Thanks again. For tuning in. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
When you're lonely, am I ever